For 4 full days, the Middle East went completely, eerily quiet. Then the silence broke. In the early hours of this morning, Iran launched an unprovoked strike targeting U.S. forces. There was no warning shot. We saw zero military buildup leading up to this. It was a complete surprise. The fragile peace is gone. Within hours, that single localized strike began crossing national borders. The escalation started here. Early Wednesday, Iran fired ballistic missiles directly out of their territory, aiming for U.S. targets inside Jordan. Jordan's military responded immediately, intercepting and shooting down 5 of them before they could make impact. U.S. Central Command was blunt about the event, officially classifying it as a direct surprise attack. Those mid-air interceptions over Jordan acted as the initial spark. Within hours, the conflict crossed borders and activated multiple new fronts. Moving east from Jordan, the kinetic retaliation hit Iraq almost immediately. U.S. and Saudi Arabian forces carried out joint strikes directly targeting the Popular Mobilization Forces, an Iran-backed militia group operating in the area. Those militia groups are currently reporting at least 20 people killed in the strikes. Saudi Arabia had spent months carefully avoiding direct military involvement in this war, sitting entirely on the sidelines until this exact moment. When one of the wealthiest and most heavily armed militaries in the region transitions into an active combatant, the geopolitical borders of the entire war expand. While the kinetic strikes happen outside its borders, Iran is facing a completely different kind of crisis on the inside. Despite projecting outward military strength, the country's domestic energy infrastructure is buckling under the strain of the conflict. This chart compares normal Iranian natural gas production against current levels. You can see the daily output plummeting, revealing a deficit of roughly 230 million cubic meters every single day since the war began. As a result, officials in a major oil and gas producing nation are now publicly asking their own citizens to cut energy use and prepare for blackouts. Israel's own defense minister confirmed that the U.S. is actively restraining Israel from striking this specific weakened energy grid, actively trying to prevent wider global economic fallout. The trajectory of this military conflict is now being shaped by more than just combat targets. While strikes continue, the U.S. is actively pulling the brake on infrastructure hits that could trigger a total energy collapse. At the exact same time, diplomacy hasn't stopped. President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu met this week, both reporting productive discussions heavily focused on preventing Iran from ever acquiring nuclear weapons. We are watching high-level negotiations play out in one room, while ballistic missiles are actively flying in another. With Saudi Arabia now directly involved in combat operations and Iran's own energy grid under immense strain, the conflict has entered territory that is increasingly hard to predict. This story is moving fast. Subscribe right now so you get the rapid updates the moment things shift again. And drop a comment below. Do you think this escalation stays contained, or will it spread further?